Let's keep it real with M. Let's go. Real talk, raw facts. We don't move slow. She cut through the drama like a blade to the noise. Southern Belle with the truth. Don't play with the voice. Hey, let's keep it real with M. Let's go. Real talk, raw facts. We don't move slow. She cut through the drama like a blade to the noise. Southern Belle with the truth. Don't play with the voice. We talk fake friends, side dudes, heartbreak too. Baby mamas, baby daddies, nothing off the menu. She ain't scared to speak it, now she built for the flame. Say your name without say your name, if it's smoke, it's the same. Energy loud, tea stay hot. Truth hit different when it land on the spot. So fix your face, don't flinch, don't scam. It's the queen of real talk, yeah, that's M. Let's keep it real with M. Let's go. Real talk, raw facts, we don't move slow. She cut through the drama like a blade to the noise. Southern Belle with the truth, don't play with the voice. Ay, let's keep it real with M. Let's go. Real talk, raw facts, we don't move slow. She cut through the drama like a blade to the noise. Southern Belle with the truth, don't play with the voice.
Hey everyone, welcome. Let me go ahead and read my disclaimer and say copyright disclaimer under the section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. What's up, Danny? Hey, girl. So, Lord. So today we're going to talk about, first of all, how do y'all like my new name? Hey, Joanne. How do y'all like my new name? I'm rebranding my channel, pushing it out to a new algorithm. That's what I'm working on. So I'm rebranding. I changed my name to M Investigates. And what this channel will focus on is anywhere from 10 to 30 years of, hey, Treasure Life, unreported cases, unsolved cases, missing cases. Hey, lovely Jim. And stuff. Sometimes I will try to get the family and to do an interview, but that is my focus. And I will be still following the Holly case whenever new evidence come about. But yeah, that's what my channel is to focus on. So I'm rebranding, y'all. I am rebranding. Hey, Strawberry Shortcake. So, and I'm coming down with something too. So what we're going to talk about now is the unreported missing person cases that has stayed with me ever since I came across it. And honestly, it's one of those cases that really bother me. Hey, Protect Your Peace. Hey, Strawberry Shortcake. In 1990, it was two 15-year-old sisters that vanished in Augusta, Georgia. No Amber Alert, no real urgency, and decades later, it's still no answers. I'm going to walk y'all through what happened, where the system failed, and then I'm going to play a short interview clip of the sister so one of their sisters did an interview with another podcaster like 2 days ago. So I'm going to play a short clip of that. Okay. And I'm going to play a clip of their mother as well. And her, and everything she been doing throughout the years, because their mother is still living. Now, before we go any further, I want y'all to be respectful to one another in the chat at all times. Thank you, Protect Your Peace, for my first 2 super chats. Thank you. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you, lovely Jim. Yeah, she said, I'm happy for you, Amber. The sky is the limit. Thank you. So, okay. Hold on, y'all, because I'm getting so sick. Okay. So Danette and Jeanette Millbrook were fraternal twins. They were 15 years old and lived in Augusta, Georgia. They were students at Lucy Laney High School. They were described as good kids, no history of runaway, no serious trouble. And it is important because early on, this case was treated like they chose to disappear, okay? So on March the 18th, 1990, the twins went about their day like normal teenagers. Earlier that afternoon, they walked to a local restaurant, which was Church's Chicken. When they came back home, they told their mother something concerning. They told their mother, "Hey, Real Talk Vibes." They told their mother that it was a white van following them. Later that same day, they left again. This time walking to their godfather's house to get money for the bus fare that week. Now this is what stands out to me the most. Okay. On that walk, after they got the money from their uncle, they asked multiple people to go with them to walk them home. They asked a cousin, she was not allowed. They stopped by a cousin house, she was not allowed. They stopped by their older sister house, and she had just given birth, so she couldn't. That tells me they were uncomfortable and they did not feel safe, right? After visiting family, now if it was me, y'all, I would have went into my sister house or cousin house and had my mom come get me or my dad. Okay, that's just me. After visiting the family, the twins stopped at a local gas station, the Pop Shop. They bought snacks. They spoke briefly with the clerk whom they knew. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, the clerk said. The clerk was the last confirmed person to see Danette and Jeanette alive. They never made it home. When family realized that the twins were missing, the response was delayed. They were told to wait 24 hours, no immediate search, no urgency. And from there, the case continued to fall apart. Over time, no proper missing person report was completed. The original police file was later reported as lost. The case was closed in 1991 without answers. The twins were removed from the National Missing Children Database. Wow. They closed the case without any answers, and they was removed from the Missing Children Database, y'all. Their last name was misspelled on records. Jeanette's middle name was recorded incorrectly. Now, let's stop right here. All of this, thank you, Protect Your Peace. Now, all of this was done. This case was handled misproperly. They just did not care. Hey, Pammy Pooh, they just did not care. Okay, is what it seemed like. Because they had the last names wrong. They had the middle name wrong of Jeanette. They closed out the case in 1991. They removed it from the missing children's database. Okay. At different points, the family was told the girls had been found. They were in foster care. They had been adopted. None of that was true. So they told them they had been found. Well, if they'd been found, why didn't you bring them to the parents? They had been found. They were in foster care. And they had been adopted. Wow. Could you imagine being a parent being told they closed out the case and you don't have your kids, or they weren't found. You don't know where it's at. They took them out of missing database. Could you imagine being a parent and them telling you all of this? And then they telling you your child was adopted. Then they telling you they was in foster care. Then they telling you, all this stuff. It's not making sense. They like, what? So none of that was true. Thank you, Protect Your Peace. Thank you, Pammy Pooh. None of that was true. This is what systematic failure looks like. Okay. Now, what bothers me, let me say this. Let me stop right here, because what bothers me about this case is sad, right? And it bothers me how often Black and brown children's missing cases are pushed under the rug. How quickly they are labeled runaways. We don't even have a chance, y'all. They automatically put us as runaways. How little urgency there is, right? Because we've seen the difference when it's us versus the Caucasian girls, right? Who remember the case of Elizabeth Smart? Who remember that case? Do anybody remember the case of Elizabeth Smart? She went missing. Her case was national headlines. Shoot, what's the Holloway girl's name? Hers was too. I can't think of what her name is, but Elizabeth Smart made national headlines. Searches was immediate. Media coverage was nonstop. She was found and brought home. Yes, Natalie Holloway. Yeah, that was her name. Elizabeth Smart and Natalie Holloway. Now, I know y'all ain't going to let Protect Your Peace do all the super chats by herself now. Thank you, Protect Your Peace. Okay, so, Elizabeth Smart was found and brought home. She was gone for like some months, maybe like 9 months or so, something like that. Then you have John Benet Ramsey. Her case has not been solved, but it's been in the headlines. Hey, Misunderstood. It's been in the headlines. It's been discussed for decades. But those cases, now, y'all don't get me wrong, those cases do deserve attention, but so did the Millbrook twins. So did Naziah Harris. So did Selena Mays. So did so many other Black and brown girls need that. What's up, Candice? The difference in response is part of why there are so many cold cases involving Black and brown children. Not because their lives mattered less, but because the system treated them that way, right? Thank you, Real Talk Vibes. I appreciate it. Now, their mother, Mary Lewis, I think his last name is Sturgis, never believed that her daughters was runaways. Their older sister, Shanta, I don't think she's the older sister. I think she's the youngest sister, became the main advocate for the case and pushed for it to be reopened. And that brings me to what I want to share with y'all. Because the sister has been out here trying to push it to where it needs to be open. She has been trying to do that. But before I do that, I want to show y'all this. Hold on. So these are the Millbrook twins right here. It look like. Okay, so these are the parents right here. The mother and the father. That's the parents. Now, it says John Millbrook, father, he was not actively involved in the girls' lives. He died in 2021, having suffered from dementia, and was criticized for his lack of involvement in the search and refusal to provide DNA when the case reopened. So the father was not really involved in their lives, and He refused to give a DNA when the case was reopened. He passed in 2021. He suffered with dementia, and it said that he had passed. Excuse me. It said that he had passed from in a nursing home. Actually, hey, peace be still. How you doing? Hey, Angela. Girl, I ain't seen you in so long. Hey, girl. I didn't know who you was. So we're gonna look at the interview that her sister did just 2 days ago. So let's go ahead and look at it. Well, I ain't gonna play it all because it's long.
Okay, and we are live now. We'll wait for a few people to come on.
This is the twin sister. She's younger than them.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We are here to discuss the case of the Millbrook twins, Danette and Jeanette Millbrook. They went missing 34 years ago from Augusta, Georgia, on March 18th, 1990. Their disappearance has been a mystery that has stood for 34 years. Today, I'm here to speak with the sister of Danette and Jeanette, Shantae Sturgis.
Keep in mind,
Shantae, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So Shantae, from reading, we know your sisters have been missing for almost 34 years. What actually happened and the day that they went missing? They went missing on March 18th, 1990. How did that day start off for you and your family, and how did we get to where we are now?
Okay, so that morning we went to church. We was at church that day. The pastor of the church basically gave my mom some money for us to eat lunch that day.
Okay.
And after we left church, we came home. My mom sent them to Church's Chicken. And when they came back from Church's Chicken, we all was sitting down eating, and we was talking about going to school. So the school that they originally would have been going to would have been Joseph High School.
Okay.
But because we hadn't been too long moved to the area that we were staying at, they were still going to an out of zone school, which was Lucy Lane High School.
Lucy Lane High School was the high school the girls were going to, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically my mom didn't have any money, of course, for us to eat lunch for that day, nor did she have any money for them to be able to catch the school, well, not the school bus, but the city bus back and forth. So she told them to call my goddad. My goddad told them that he would give them some money, to catch the school bus. The city bus back and forth to school for that week.
Okay.
And they left the house, and basically they made it to his house. And after they left his house is where everything went left, because instead of them coming back home, they was going to different family members' houses, where they went to 2 different family members' houses to ask them to walk home with them. One of them was my cousin Juanita. The other one was my older sister, AC Hander. And so basically, they made it to Juanita's house. Her mom wouldn't let them go with them. So they left Juanita's house and went to my older sister's house. My older sister said when they came there, they asked her, she said that she couldn't walk home with them, that she hadn't been too long, had her oldest son at that time. So of course she then, wasn't up to walking with them. So it had to be probably like maybe 4:30ish, almost 5 o'clock. I know it was getting late, basically. And they left the house around maybe 2 or almost 2.
Okay.
So in between that time, I guess my mom started getting worried that they hadn't made it back home, because we done walked that area before. So I guess she knew, the time frame, how long it would have took for them to get back. home. So she started calling around to other people, you know, like my sister and my goddad, asked him did they make it to his house, and he told her yeah. And then when she called my older sister, this is how we knew to go to the pump and shop store, because my sister said yes, they came over here, Mom, and they left my house walking like they was going towards the pump and shop. So by us already living by the pump and shop years ago, you know, years prior to us moving to where we live, we already knew some of the attendants that work in the store. So the attendant, you know, basically by the time we walked down there, she told my mom that they did come in the store, that what they brought, you know, she said they didn't seem like they was worried about anything. Nothing. The only thing she know is they brought what they brought. After they left the register, she had to ring up somebody else, and she said basically they was gone just like that. She don't know if they got in the car with somebody. She don't know if they went left, right, or what, you know. And from that point on, as we know, she's the last person that seen them, and nobody's seen them since.
Wow. So I got a question. By them asking people to walk them home, do you think they was a little worried?
I think so.
They just didn't want to
Because
let on, right?
if they wasn't worried walking down there, you know, and they didn't need nobody else, because I also asked them to walk with them, even though I was 12 years old back then. I did ask to go, and they told me no. They told me that they was coming right back after they left my goddad house, and basically, so I think something happened in between there, and that's the reason why they was going around asking people to walk them back home or whatever. I'm not sure, you know, and I guess we'll never know what was the purpose of them going, because we don't know where they at still to this day.
Right. And I remember before, when we spoke before, the first time they got home, they said a white van was following them, right?
Yes, Jeanette told my mom that when they left churches that they thought a white van was following them. Of course, my mom, you know, she went to the door and she looked out, but we didn't see a white van, you know. So basically, we don't know if the van was actually following them, or if the van was going the same way they was going and they thought the van was following. We just
See, if they seen a white van, I'm gonna tell you, if it was me and I seen a white van, could nobody paid me to go out that house at all, because a white van would have scared me so bad I would have went back out the house. And to know that they stopped at family members' houses to walk them home, you know something had to be up. All of this is just strange to me. And to not know what happened to these girls 34 years later, I couldn't imagine living a life like that. Don't know.
just don't know, you know. We just know what they said.
Right. So that area from the pumping shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they come, okay, when they said they walked back from the pumping shop, now that area straight, narrow, is the alley there? What's right there?
Okay, if they had you talking about like them leaving from where we were staying at, going there?
Yes, Dad.
No, leaving from the pumping shop. Like
Okay,
said,
leaving
yeah.
from the pumping shop, it is an alley right behind the pumping shop.
So do you think something could have happened behind that, or you just don't know?
I mean, it could have, you know,
Right.
because, you know, when we was living in that area, I do know sometime before, okay, we stayed in 2 different houses when we stayed on 12th Street.
Okay.
So the first house that we stayed in that was by the pumping shop, my older sister left home to, I guess she was going to hang out with friends or whatever, I'm not sure, but I know she was sexually assaulted in that same alley.
Oh wow. Okay, so I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. And so during the time when the twins went missing, I'm not sure if you know, it was somebody standing around, waiting for them. I don't know if the person that was in the van that was following them that we didn't see, it may be could have been a van following them. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just know what was told.
Right.
And then
okay.
So sometime after that right there, after we made it back home, because we walked there, walked to the barber shop, and I'm saying, cause hello,
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you.
okay, cause somebody was calling my phone.
You're right.
Anyway,
Good.
I know, when we made it to the store, and after talking to the attendant, we walked back. As we was walking, I'm sorry. Why does they keep calling my phone? I'm doing something. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. It happens. It happens.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm not sure what transpired when they went there. When we went, back home, as we was going home, we looked in, like empty houses, like different like open space, like with whole bunch of trees and stuff like that. She was basically, we was just looking, not knowing
looking everywhere.
Find anything or whatever. So once we made it back home, she called the police, because by then it was dark then, and they still hadn't came home. And when she called the police, they basically told her that she had to wait 24 hours before she reported it.
So, since when, if it's minors, you have to wait 24 hours? I thought if it was an adult, you had to wait 24 hours.
24 hours, that's insane to tell anybody that, here you have two 15-year-olds, that are not known for but they're known just for going to school and coming home. But to say, I mean, any kid, period, 24 hours, 24 hours is one of the most crucial hour. Like, that's the most crucial hour period around that time. A lot can happen in 24 hours. So that's crazy. So after they say wait 24 hours, then how did it go after that?
Okay, so after the 24 hours was up, the next morning, she calls them again. This time they sent someone out. Okay. The cop that came out, she gave them all the correct information, but for some miraculous reason, he wrote the information down wrong. He wrote their birthday down wrong. He wrote the spelling of their names down wrong. He wrote the name of the street that my goddad stayed on. He got that mixed up with it's a Florence and a Forest Street.
Oh, he just ain't care.
My goddad stayed on Forest Street. He wrote down Florence Street. So, after he took all the information or whatever, he ends up giving it. I guess he ended up giving it to the investigator, but the investigator didn't come out until that next week. So the next day, which would have been the March the 19th, the regular police officer came out. Okay. The week after that is when the investigator came out. Okay. The investigator that came out, his name was Jim Ship.
Hey, Kiara.
He tells my mom that he was going to go look for the girls or whatever. He still put the information in wrong. They still had the information wrong. Wow. Their birthdays, spelling of their names. What else? Yeah, basically that was it. And then after that date, we didn't hear from him again until maybe a month or so.
Wow, a month was the next time after they went missing. A month was the next time that they heard from them. Now y'all heard that they got everything wrong, mixed up. So now it makes sense why they closed the case. They was thinking everything was mixed up. That's what you call that person should have been fired that handled this case.
A month. Wow.
Okay, so after that month was up, I guess he called himself still looking for them or whatever. But you still didn't go to the people houses who you supposed to be. You didn't talk to the people that you should have been talking to. Basically, he didn't talk to my older sister, which they seen them the day they went missing.
Right.
He didn't talk to my cousin. He didn't talk to the attendant at the store. Basically, he didn't talk to nobody but my goddad. They did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we know that they really did make it to his house. After that, right there, a whole year had them passed, and he probably came to my mom's house like the end of 90. And I guess to check to see had they came home or whatever.
Wow.
Because they still hadn't came home. But by the time April the 8th of 1991 comes.
Could y'all imagine going on with life, having to move on with life without your 15-year-old kids or whatever age kids you have or whatever, going on with your life with little help from the people that is supposed to protect and serve us and help us, not helping, acting as if they don't care, labeling them as runaways? Could you imagine moving on with your life? Because life goes on. Life goes on. Could you imagine you moving on and you don't know where your kids is at?
He basically came and knocked on my mom's door and told her that had he found them, that he couldn't make them come back home because they had turned 17 years old. He also says that they had been found and he couldn't make them come back home.
Wow.
So it was two different things. And I'm again like going ahead because in 2017, this is when we find this part out that he felt that they had been found. He said they had been found, but they still hadn't been found. And we know they hadn't been found. But if he said they had been found, you didn't get her address, you didn't tell her where, you didn't tell her who they were with, you ain't tell her none of that, but you're telling everybody else, like all the people who we're trying to contact to get to help us find them, you're telling them that they hadn't been found, but in actuality they hadn't. So
he said they've been found and they were not found. And this
right.
He said this was year 2017? Or
yeah, this is when we found out that he was still telling people that they had been found, but they was never found. So from 1991, I think he closed the case out April the 8th of 1991. So the case is closed, period. Nobody's looking for them.
Right. The case is closed for 22 years, right?
23.
Wow.
23 years, right? Okay, 23
years.
Yeah,
the case is closed 23 years.
Okay.
So by the case being closed 23 years, you got that whole big old open gap where 2 decades and something has done went by and nobody's looking for them based off of what the detective shift tells them. But you told us, had you found them, you couldn't make them come back home.
What?
1993, we found out that he calls the National Missing and Explored Children and tells them to take my sister and them out of the database.
Wow.
He said they should have never been in there because they was nothing but some unruly runaways.
And this is Detective Ship, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Took them out of there. And until this day, the twins are still missing. I wonder if they could sue that city, that police borough, for handling this case all wrong. Because they wrong for this.
And Ship has a history of labeling people as runaways because there was another little girl that went missing from Augusta, Georgia. Listen to this, y'all. Detective Ship also said another young lady had ran away from Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, she was 9 years old.
Oh, so listening to this sound like this has something to do. Sound like the police or somebody involved in this is what the way they handled this. That's what this sound like to me.
She was 9 years old, and
Tiffany Nelson. It took him 11 days to rule this little girl case as an abduction. And I heard this out of the sheriff's mouth. So I know it is true that he said this. But 2005, the little girl went missing in 1994.
Right.
2005, they found her body in a shallow grave off of Highway 56.
They sure did, because I remember reading. I just can't think of her name at the time, but I
Tiffany
remember reading
Nelson.
Right.
Tiffany Nelson. So look that name up, Tiffany Nelson. Detective Ship also labeled Tiffany Nelson, a 9-year-old at the time, as a runaway.
As a runaway.
Ooh.
But almost 12 years later, she's found in a shallow grave.
Right.
This is why when I put in my description about the case, I said there like of, because as y'all can see, y'all listening, this case was never investigated
properly.
It is still to this day it's not being really investigated, you know, and it's a shame because it's been all these years, you know. These investigators were able to go home with their family without a care in the world.
Yeah.
And here you have.
Oh, he said the reason why he can go home, and he said he was glad that he could go home because he didn't have kids that he had to go home to kill. Ooh. This is what he told the Fall Line podcast Detective Ship. He said because he didn't even know why they even put him on missing kids cases or missing people cases. And I was like, wow, you know,
that's something to say to a family that's missing kids.
It is something to say when you supposed to help the community, you know. And it's like it took me all that time I had been calling. To my this it's so much. I done told this story so many times, you know. It's like a movie to me. It's like I'm telling somebody else's life, but it's our life. You know what I mean? And it's like it took y'all 23 years to open this case back up. This family still calling y'all all these years, and y'all still saying y'all can't help. The only reason why this case, I think, got opened back up is because the sheriff that was running at the time, he was wanting to get elected.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Because
who was the sheriff at the time?
His Richard Roundtree.
That's the one the sheriff now, right?
Yes, he's the sheriff now.
Yeah, I remember
he wasn't the sheriff when they first went missing, but when they opened the case back up in 2013, he was just being elected as sheriff. And I thought, you know, because the sheriff that was in the seat at the time when they first went missing was a Caucasian guy, you know, I was like, well, maybe, you know, that he's a black guy, maybe he want to help more than, you know, this me thinking. I could be wrong, you know, I don't know. But I was like, hey, let me try. I just happened to see him on the news and he was saying that he wanted to help the community, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, this is a good time right here for me to call. So I called down there and sure enough, they ended up calling me back. They didn't answer the first time. And Sheriff Roundtree was the one that I talked to. I talked to the person that he was running against. And he's the one that called me back and said they was going to open the case back up because they didn't like how the case was closed. They closed the case off of hearsay. Basically, somebody said they seen them. He closed the case and left it as that. 1993, you called NICMED, which is the National Mission and Explored Children, tell them to take them out of the database. So 20-something years goes by, nobody knew. Like anything could have happened between March the 18th and 2013. They opened the case back up in September, I believe. Anything could have happened. Anything. They could have still been alive. We don't know. I mean, they could still be alive to this day. We just don't know what happened to them. You know what I mean? And I think if they had did something then or got somebody else different, if they see that the family was still calling saying these girls out there, why not try to help? You think we calling for our help? We weren't calling for our help. We weren't just calling down there to say they was still missing if they wasn't.
Right.
I still don't get it to this day. You know, I might have was young, been young back then, but I still know I had two siblings, and I ain't seen them since I was 12 and they was 15, and I'm 46 years old right now, and they 50? They just turned 50 this year.
Yeah, I seen the birthday celebration that you did before 'em.
Wow.
I just hate it. You know, I just hate the whole thing. I hate the whole thing even happened. I don't even know what else to do no more. I done been on so many platforms. I done been on the news. You know, I done did everything that I could think of that you could do. You know,
Yeah, I
but
always think
I'm
about
not a police officer. You know,
right. You can't investigate.
yeah, I can't. You know, just go out here and it be knocking on folks' doors. You know what I'm saying? I was young back then. Had I been the age I am now back then, I probably could have did all that stuff. But I was a little girl, you know, when they first went missing. But I still remember them. I still remember everything about them. I still remember what they had on the day they walked out my mama's door.
Right. How is your mom doing?
She doing okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You
Because I
know,
know
she
we
think
always think
about
about
them
these
every day.
cases. Yeah, we always think about these cases, and for me, I always think about the parents, you know, because I know it takes a toll on them.
Yeah, they had done even put out, you know, he had when I was calling down there, I don't know where the information even came from or what made them even think that, but they was telling me when I called down there to ask, you know, for them to help. They basically was saying that my mom kids had got taken away from her. Okay. Now, mind you, it was my older sister, it's the twins, then me, then my sister Jacqueline. Then I got a sister named Jessica, a sister named Tiffany, and a sister named Cicely. It's 8 girls, 8 of us.
Uh-huh.
Why would they take 2 and leave the rest of them?
Yes, because if they're gonna take them, they take them all.
Yeah, that part didn't make sense to me. But that's what they told me. You need to be talking to your mom because your sister, that way they said your sister them had been taken away from your mom. I said, that didn't make no sense. I said, how can y'all take 2 and not take the rest? And I was like, somebody lying. He gonna tell me he appreciate me saying his officers was liars.
Well,
I
they
said,
were.
well, I don't appreciate you trying to say my mama a liar. And I lived that. I know if they had if the defects had took my mom kids or not. They had me calling the adoption agency and everything, which I already knew, you know, but I just did it just on the screen just to get that part of the investigation that I was doing myself out the way. So
Right.
they had no recollection of none of my mom kids being taken away from her.
Basically a wild
So
goose chase, basically.
yeah, basically that's what it was. Then 1996, I happened to be sitting down looking at TV. I was looking at the news. I always look at the news ever since they had been missing. I read the newspaper, you know, all kind of newspapers. Anything that I could think that they would put an article in about somebody missing or somebody murdered or they found the body here or whatever. I try to read and I try to stay up on everything. I
Yeah.
just happen to be sitting down looking at the news. They had an image of a female that had been missing. I guess she had been missing for a while or whatever, and they ended up finding the female's body in South Carolina. The image looked like one of the twins.
I was just looking at the image before we went live, too.
So I called again, and I get shut down. They told me off rip, no, it's not her. I said, okay, left it like that. So 2017 comes, I meet Laura and Brooke of the Fall Line Podcast. Okay, I'll tell you them the same story. They ends up calling to the Aiken County Sheriff's and they end up talking to the Aiken Coroner. So when unknown to me, the person that I saw in 1996 still hadn't been identified.
Wow. So all these years. So 11 years. Okay,
Uh,
now it's 11
yeah,
years. Now
yeah,
11 years behind this point. Okay.
exactly. So I was like, wow, they still don't know who. So, I was like, maybe it is one of them. You know what I'm saying? So it took a long time for us to get them to do the DNA comparison to the person. But I think in 2020, listen to what I'm telling you now, from
Okay.
2013, from 1996 all the way up until 2020. That's how long it took for us to find out, for them to do the DNA, because they just had got DNA from my mom in 2013. So any Jane Does that was going from 1990 all the way up,
They
they
didn't
wouldn't
get
be able to
DNA.
compare it to
Remember
nothing
I told y'all
because
that?
they still hadn't got my mom DNA. My older sister DNA, they hadn't got that until 2013. So what
Wow.
if it was a Jane Doe out here that was them? And I just found this out today, that
What?
any Jane Does that was going around back then, they probably don't even have anything in the database that they could compare to my mom. But they finally did it for that Jane Doe that they had in Aiken, South Carolina. They told us that it wasn't now one of them. But I think they only did the DNA comparison. Well, I guess if they'd used my mom's DNA, I guess that's how they would determine that it was neither twin. But I swear to you, if you look at it and you look at her, it looks just like her.
I saw that, and I remember you told me that they should have tested both twins because they're not
Yeah,
identical. They're fraternal twins, so they
exactly.
may have two different blood types.
Exactly. So I don't know.
That's a whole like question and answer by itself too. Because say if they did the DNA on both girls, you feel me? And
Right.
like you said, cause I looked at it and looking at Jeanette's picture
Yeah.
and looking at the Jane Doe, this picture right here, y'all. This Jane Doe that they found in South Carolina looks exactly. You would think that it was her sister. So I think they should retest that too.
I
Okay.
really do too. I was just talking about it today.
Right.
I was talking about it today because it just something in me just because like it's 34 years and y'all ain't found nothing.
Nothing.
No bodies, no nothing, no clothes, something that could tell us, what happened to them. It's just like they vanished into thin air, and we know that's not possible.
And where does the investigation stand now? Like, are they actually investigating the case?
I have no clue.
Wow.
Because it just doesn't seem like it. You know, you like you said, you hear
Yeah,
updates
because
or
they don't
something.
call us, they
You have
don't
not heard
contact
anything.
us, no, none of that. That's why I was talking to someone today, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna call because they finna do it on sheriff election again.
Well,
So
hopefully
the
this
guy
sheriff.
that's running, I said I'm gonna call down there and see if I can get him somebody to do something. I know it's gonna take a lot, but I done seen plenty of cases where it be 40 years later and they solve.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what I mean?
I'm glad you
So
feel that way. I'm glad you don't give up. I'm glad you feel that way because
I'm trying not to, but it's hard, and you got to go every day without knowing what happened to them, and it's like I just feel bad because I've been trying for so long. I tried before I even did a podcast, anything. Anybody that I come in contact with that I feel could be of some kind of help, I reach out to them. I talk to them about it, like people that I work with. Because you never know who.
right, that's
So
true.
I always talk about them. I always try to keep their name out there. You know, a lot of this when it never happened that's going on now hadn't been for the Fall Line podcast. I can't
Yeah,
say that
they're
because
good. They're really
yeah,
good.
they did a lot, to help me and my mom now or whatever. But I wish it was something else. I don't know. I ain't giving up hope, but I
Right.
never do that. I know God, He do things on His time, So I
Right.
stay prayed up about it. And
Right.
one day, I'm hoping that they can find them.
Right. So
Whether, it's for the good or bad, we just need to know. That's the worstest thing for your child to walk out the door and you don't know if they dead or alive.
right. And not knowing is the
And
worst part.
yeah, it ain't one, it's two of them,
Two
you
children.
know.
Yes.
And then they got a brother that they don't even know. My mom
Mm.
had my brother um after they went miss. They
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they don't even know they got a brother. He 33.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, question. Now, their dad. I know when I was watching, the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
When did the rumors with him start coming up? When did y'all first started hearing the rumors about the dad and if he may have something to do with the disappearance?
Here we thought that from off the rip though, to
Okay,
be
from the
honest
rip.
with you.
Okay.
Because basically, if your child go missing and even though you and the dad are not together, you're gonna call and be like your child missing, you expect for them to have some kind of reaction. Oh my God, let me do this or do that to help try to find them. They want nothing to do with it. He told my mom to leave them out there, that they probably were with some man. Just leave them alone. He never wanted to look for them. So for a long time, we thought that he probably knew where they was at or whatever the case may be. And then years later, he ends up having some dealings with these guys and he helped these guys hide a body. Okay.
What?
He goes to jail with these guys. So when I met Brooke and Laura of the Fall Line, they ended up contacting some of these guys and come to find out the guys, one of the guys wrote them back and basically said that their dad was on drugs and that he was allowing drug dealers to sell drugs out their house. And they had some kind of party there. And my sister then was supposed to been over there and that one of the guys tried to sexually assault her
What?
and the other twin tried to help her and he's supposed to been hit her some kind of way in her head, hit the table, and basically she passed away. And he said the other twin, he figured that she was dead too because after that day that he didn't see him no more.
What?
So he said he figured that they were dead because he didn't see them anymore. So
Yeah, but he know for sure
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
he
wait a
said he know for sure one of the twins was dead that night. But the other
minute.
twin,
Wait.
he said
Let me go back.
um after they went miss. They
oh, okay.
Yeah, so they don't even know they got a brother. He 33.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, question. Now, their dad. I know when I was watching, the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
When did the rumors with him start coming up? When did y'all first started hearing the rumors about the dad and if he may have something to do with the disappearance?
Here we thought that from off the rip though, to be
Okay, from the
honest
rip.
with you.
Okay.
Because basically, if your child go missing and even though you and the dad are not together, you're gonna call and be like your child missing, you expect for them to have some kind of reaction. Oh my God, let me do this or do that to help try to find them. Didn't want nothing to do with it. He
Wow.
told my mom to leave them out there, that they probably were with some man. Just leave them alone. He
What?
never wanted to look for them. So for a long time, we thought
I'm
that he
saying.
probably knew where they was at or whatever the case may be. And then years later, um, he ends up having some dealings with these guys and he helped these guys hide a body. Okay. He goes to jail with these guys. So when I met Brooke and Laura of the Fall Line, they ended up contacting some of these guys and come to find out the guys, one of the guys wrote them back and basically said that their dad was on drugs and that he was allowing drug dealers to sell drugs out their house. And they had some kind of party there. And my sister and them was supposed to been over there, and that one of the guys tried to sexually assault her, and the other twin tried to help her, and he's supposed to been hit her some kind of way in her head, hit the table, and basically she passed away. And he said the other twin, he figured that she was dead too, because after that day that he didn't see him no more.
So he said he figured that they were dead because he didn't see them anymore. So
yeah, but he know for sure he said he know for sure one of the twins was dead that night. But the other twin, he said he don't know if she was dead or not, but he figured that she was, because after that night of the party or whatever, that he didn't see her anymore either.
yeah, that sounds. I don't know. So I mean, what were your
But
feelings on?
this the thing right here. Okay, so
Okay.
by him saying all that, right? The part about the drugs, I don't believe.
Right.
Because my sister and them were no type of girls. My sister and them didn't do drugs. They didn't drink none of that stuff. They weren't but 15 years old. I know it. Times have changed now. You probably find some 15-year-olds that do that type of stuff now. But back then, they didn't. My Jeanette was always, she loved animals, kittens, cats is her favorite animal. That's all she do is sit at home. She had a cat named Jennifer. Danette, same thing. They just sit around. We listen to the radio, sit on the porch or whatever, but barely even went in the place. If they did, we was always together. You know what I mean? So it's not like they was party girls for him to say the stuff that he was saying.
Wow.
And if it happened, like I said, it was forced on them to do. But I just don't believe that part about the drugs. Now, the other part about the sexual assault, it could have been, you know what I'm saying? It might not have been. But once Richmond County was told this, they said they was going to do their own little investigation. The guy's name that was mentioned in it, they said the reason why the story wasn't credible is because one of them ended up in a wheelchair, was in a wheelchair at the time that they're saying that this supposed to have been happening, which that don't make sense to me. Anyway, I end up talking, they called my mom and told her after the finding of their investigation, they was going to close that part of the case out because they just didn't believe it. They say the guy that was telling the story, he just wanted something out of it, blah, blah, blah. So I end up calling down there to the sheriff department to talk to the guy myself and ask him why is he closing the case out. I said, y'all got my mom upset all over again. I said, she been told so many years, 20-something years, y'all saying that they can't help her, and now that they don't open the case back up, it feels like we just back in 1990. So you telling me y'all ain't gonna do nothing? And then that's when he said that he feel that the story wasn't credible, that the guy probably just wanted to get out of prison or whatever the case may be. And he said that basically if that
it don't matter if the story wasn't credible. You got to look into the story to find out if it was credible or not. You got to at least give it a try.
The story was true, but it wasn't my sister and them that it happened to.
Hey, Shameen.
Okay, so who did it happen to?
So who did it happen to? I asked the same thing. And guess what he told me? They can't give me that information because it's still under investigation.
That's because they don't know themselves. That's why.
Exactly.
So, like, even going forward, like the dad is still like, even after he doesn't want anything. And I know you got an older sister, right? And I know
yeah, she passed away on the twins' birthday in 2018.
Oh
wow.
Man.
Yeah. On their birthday, ain't that
on their birthday?
Yeah.
Wow. How was her relationship with dad?
Now she had a good relationship with him. And that's the thing. When they first start want to question the dad about it, they asked her, because my mom, really don't talk to him, but they know she talked to him. My sister did. So she calls and talk to him every day. They talk all the time. So when they put the new investigator that they had over, which her name was Ashley Pletcher, they put her over the case. And when she went to go talk to him, she told my older sister told her that their dad told her to tell them that he was dead. So he
Wow.
wouldn't have to talk to the police at all.
So he definitely was hiding
So
something.
yeah, so
Wait a minute now.
from the time they went missing all the way up until 20 something, 2000 and what 13, when they
Yeah.
put her over the case, he didn't want to have nothing to do with it still, because then you telling them to tell that you dead instead of trying to get them some kind of information or talk to them about something. But I ain't gonna sit here and say Ashley wasn't a good investigator, because at one point she was the only one, the investigator that they ever put over the case that would call and check on us, see how we are doing, see had we heard anything. And then miraculously out the blue, I hadn't heard from her. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And I was like, well, let me call her. So I called, and guess what? It takes her off the case.
Wow.
You
Why?
know what's crazy? Someone commented when I first ran the story on Facebook about your sisters. Someone commented in the comments that their mother was on this case and they took her off. So that might have been her daughter.
Could
It
be,
was
and
on
they
one of the
took off.
posts, and she said,
Yeah.
"Yeah." She said her mom. She said the case broke her heart. She said she was on it, but then like you said, miraculously
Yeah,
they
she
took her off the
was.
case.
She hated that. But I don't know what took place down there, between, the sheriff department and her, whatever. But I just know they took her off the case. And once they took her off the case, she went to another police department. So she's still in law enforcement, but she
Right,
can't do nothing to help us because she in the nurse jurisdiction, and
right.
this is Richmond County.
Okay,
But she
so
did try,
right.
you
So
know.
their father is now passed away, right? When did he
Yeah,
pass away?
he passed away in 2021.
Now, before he passed away, did
No,
he
they didn't talk
nothing?
to him. Nothing. They couldn't talk to him. You know why? Yeah, they waited too long. You waited 20 something years to try to talk to this man. And by then he claimed he got dementia. Oh, well, he did have it, But before he passed, I want to say maybe 20 2018, maybe somewhere between 2018, 2017, somewhere between 2017 and 2018, he was at the nursing home. Before he got to the nursing home, we ended up seeing him on the news again. This time it was because one of the guys that's in prison that supposed to have something to do with my sister and them being murdered. His mom was my sister and them dad caretaker.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So by her being his caretaker for years, because my mom always was trying to figure out what relationship did this lady have with him, because him and her didn't have they wasn't together. They wasn't dating or anything like that, but the lady was over his funds, like his social security or whatever. And by her being over the social security, I guess he felt she wasn't doing right. So he asked my mom to be over his money for him, but my mom wouldn't do it. So
No, that's real.
the lady continued. And then some kind of way, um, I guess his mental state had started deteriorating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were staying in a house over here off of down here in Augusta off Milledgeville Road. He basically was being neglected. They found him outside naked or whatever, and they had to take him to the hospital. When we seen it, we goes up there to the hospital to see him.
I wouldn't have.
Okay. We gets up there. He's talking fine at first. But as soon as we ask him anything about the twins, it's basically like, you know how you start like you in how you pronounce it, incurred.
Incarrot.
Yeah. So basically he was acting like he didn't know nothing. Like,
Okay.
you get what I'm saying? But soon as you say something about, say they asked him, do he want something to eat or something like that, or something that happened back in the day that he would remember, because his niece was up there. So basically, when we asked him something about the twins, it's all this stuff here, you know. And when one of the podcasters asked him, did he know what happened to them? And he said, yeah, they did. Then he turned around a little while after that. I was like, you know, when I heard it, I said, hold up.
Yeah.
He just say they was dead. And she was like, yeah. So she started questioning him more and more and more. And basically he was like, no, I don't know what they at. She said,
no,
you just
that
said
first
that.
answer. That first answer.
Yeah.
That first answer, him saying he was telling the truth, and then he was trying to play mind games.
Yeah.
But I think you already had that figured out by him dodging around the questions.
Oh, he suffered. I know he suffered before he
was. He was just, every time you mention their name, he'll try to go over it, act like he didn't hear you. Basically, like, you know, like something wrong with him.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut it off. I think we got the gist of it. So I did do a poll saying, do you think that the twins' father had something to do with their disappearance? Y'all answer that for me if you don't mind. I absolutely do think that the father had something to do with it. He was too standoffish. The person in prison, you know, them talking, it's a good chance that only 2 votes. Wow. It's a good chance that that person could have told a story to get out, but they didn't even look into it. And everything is suspect when it comes to the dad, because he didn't do like a father should have done. He did not protect his girls. He didn't get out there and search for them. He left it up to the mother and the sister to, you know, advocate for them. And those were his kids. And he wouldn't even give DNA sample. Okay. That tells a lie. So I only could think, I know he probably suffered in his last days here on earth, because to not want to do anything, to not want to give DNA to help find your kids, to not get out here and help want to find your kids, to not want to advocate for your kids. I know God ain't blessed none of that. I know he had to probably suffer. I want to let's take a look at their mom. It's only like 2 minutes, but thanks everyone for helping me reach my goal too. But this will only be like 2 minutes, but let's look at what their mom had to say in a clip here.
Hidden Countdown continues with dozens gathering today to remember 2 girls who vanished nearly 3 decades ago. Danette and Jeanette Millbrook have been missing since 1990, but their family is not giving up. News Channel 6's Samantha Williams joins us live with more. Samantha?
Renetta, the event, originally a prayer vigil, turned out to be a rally to raise awareness and keep the Millbrook twins' names alive. 28 years later, the sisters' family wants answers more now than ever.
I'm just hoping that one day I'll see them walking through my front door.
Fighting back tears, Mary Sturgis, the twins' mother, tells me nearly 3 decades after Danette and Jeanette Millbrook's disappearance, the pain never goes away. It was March 18th, 1990, when the sisters were last seen here at the Augusta Mart, formerly named Pump and Shop convenience store off of MLK Boulevard. We're told the girls were on a mission to get bus fare from their godfather and head home before school started.
To see them walking off in some kind of way, I felt like, I don't know, it was just different that day.
Now, flash forward to the 28th anniversary of Danette and Jeanette's disappearance. People of all ages and backgrounds came out for one purpose. Donna Green organized Sunday's rally. She heard about the missing girls on the Fall Line podcast. Having her own son taken from her and later turning into a cold case, Green felt passionate to spearhead this event.
I know about cold cases, and if you don't keep them active, they stay cold.
Dozens of volunteers held up signs and handed out flyers to people driving by, and hundreds showed support by honking. The Fall Line podcasters who picked up the twins' case even drove up from Atlanta to show support. Brooke Hargrove tells me the twins' podcast has reached at least 2.2 million downloads.
We were shocked how little help they've gotten and wanted to do anything we could to try and advance the case.
And there is an $8,000 reward for information leading to the resolution of Danette and Jeanette's disappearance.
I just know somebody knows something.
Any information at all about the disappearance of Danette and Jeanette Millbrook, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
Wow. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? It's crazy. If you had, I don't know, it was an option, I would have picked that. Oh, wait, let me see. Hey, Frenchie. Yeah, I got a poll up there. Let me see. I don't know how many votes it say now, but I know 90% say yes and 10% say no. No, the father didn't. It's sad. Very much sad, y'all. So I'm going to get off of here, but before I go, I need to go ahead and stamp my brand because, y'all, I am rebranding. So let me say this before I go. If you have any information about the disappearance of Danette and Jeanette, thank you for voting, Frenchie. If you have any information about the disappearance of Danette and Jeanette Millbrook, no matter how small, please contact the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. And if you know a case that was underreported, mishandled, or forgotten, you can email me at letskeepitrealwithamam@gmail.com. And I will go ahead and look into it for you. And this is Am Investigates. And some stories deserve to be brought back into the light. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.